disenchanted with just making a living. When he turns to greed, it kills him every time.
David, what is your opinion about the Melendez brothers? Do you think they should be out?
How you doing, Mr. Davis?
How are you?
Good.
Do you have any opinions about Mr. Melendez?
American Music Awards. Are you going to be there? The AMAs, American Music Awards?
And about 3 weeks before the show was due to be taped, I called up Dion. I said, you know what? I can't do Soul Train, the second one. I can't do this. I can't do it.
And I said, are you sick? No, I just can't be seen right now. So I went by his home. So what's the problem? I mean, it's something that apparently we can fix. Look at me. I said, I'm looking at you.
What if recording high quality content, editing like...
You are now tuned in to the News You Can Use podcast. I'm your host with the most, Big Surf God, and today is my third day out. People, jump in the comments, like and subscribe. Today I'm with the court. I get to pick my lawyer, so I got 30 days for that. Then they'll start the arraignment, whatever the hell they do after that. Wish me the best. Pray for me. Keep me in your prayers. Today, we're going to be doing reaction videos. I'm going to pull this down because I don't want no copyright. I think we're going to talk about Clive Davis today. Just into that. Let's go. Let me get back to it. Clive Davis, man, is the original Diddy. And I'm trying to figure out, why are they tearing our black man down, but ain't none of these people.
I mean, I look like the Goodyear blimp. All you got to do is write Goodyear across my button, fly me. I said, Luther, are you crazy?
I can't face.
Cat Williams is back, shaking the table again. And this time, he's calling out the industry's darkest secrets that no one was ever supposed to hear. You think you knew R&B history? Think again. Because apparently, the velvet-voiced legend Barry White wasn't just singing about love. He was out here trying to warn people. According to Cat, Barry White once pulled Luther Vandross aside and tried to alert him about none other than Clive Davis. Yes, that Clive Davis, the music mogul with a reputation for making or breaking careers. But the alleged warning? It wasn't about business. Cat claims Barry was trying to protect Luther from Clive.
Ain't go Cat, bro, look creepy.
Clive's lustful interest in young male artists. Now let's pause. Do you guys realize how deep this goes? Barry White was an icon in the R&B scene, and he wasn't known for running his mouth recklessly. So if he really said something like this, what was he seeing backstage? Before Barry White became the undisputed king of romance, he was just a South Central kid dodging trouble, and sometimes failing at it. Yup, Barry did time as a teen for stealing tires. But plot twist, that jail cell might have saved his life. He wrote in his autobiography, Love Unlimited, insights on life and love. And while sitting behind bars, he heard Elvis Presley, it's now or never. And something in him just snapped into focus. That voice, that vibe, that power, Barry decided right then, I'm gonna do this music thing, and I'm gonna do it big. Can you imagine the man who gave us Never Gonna Give You Up, having his origin story start with a stolen tire and a prison radio?
Man, stealing all this man sauce. You feel me?
Insane.
And all my days, I've hoped and I prayed for someone just like you to make me feel the way you do. Never gonna give me up. I'm never ever gonna stop.
All of this was about publishing rights. Once they steal the publishing rights and they got to go against court with the family, a lot of the family don't know the music business. They don't know the ins and outs. So they get fucked every time. But yeah, as soon as he started asking about royalties and where my money at and this, that, and this, that's when it all starts to happen.
Barry White didn't just make music, he crafted the entire blueprint for seduction. With hits like Can't Get Enough of Your Love, Babe, and You're the First, the Last, My Everything. The man practically engineered the 70s bedroom playlist. Soul met disco, Silk met swagger, and boom. He became the soundtrack to love in an era obsessed with groove and intimacy. And get this, Barry couldn't even read or write music, but still, he was out producing, outselling, and out seducing everybody in the game.
When it comes to you, do you like just immediately write it down, or are you always like this kind of?
Well, music for me as a writer composer, it always is dictated by the music. A lot of writers write lyrics first, then they find the music. The music always dictates the lyrics.
Really?
Barry White, yeah.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
Barry still recalls the time when his voice changed. It was a regular morning. Barry wakes up, goes to talk to his mom, and boom, his voice had dropped from Mickey Mouse to Midnight Thunderstorm. I woke up one morning like any other morning. I spoke to my mother and it horrified both of us, he said. It was unbelievable. My chest vibrated. We just stood in the floor staring at each other. It was incredible. For the next 3 weeks, all of my friends wanted me to talk and say something. Everybody who worked with Barry White had nothing but love and respect for the man. Musicians, producers, vocalists, across the board. They spoke of his generosity, his warmth, his leadership.
Fuck this video, bro.
Leadership in the studio.
Somehow you got a gig to play with Barry White. So how did that happen?
What happened was they came to Seattle. Barry's sax soloist couldn't make it for whatever reason, so they're desperate. I remember my teacher comes up to me and goes, "Hey, do you want to do a gig with Barry White?" I go, "Huh? Do you want it?" I said, "Sure, I'll do it."
Weren't you like freaking out?
No, because I think I was too innocent to know that I should be nervous. The hard part was when I first showed up, I had a suit that I wore at my bar mitzvah, but it wasn't even a suit. It was like this plaid jacket with maroon pants. My mom picked it out for me. So I show up to get on the bus for this first gig with Barry White, and everyone's going, "What are you doing here, kid?" I said, "Well, I'm supposed to be playing with Barry White." "You? You're in the wrong bus," whatever. But it turned out I was on the right bus.
Took us to California to meet Barry. We go into this office they had on Sunset Boulevard, and we're all there, all excited, and here come Barry in there, and he was a very big and imposing guy, had rings on all his fingers and really rusty, knuckles. He could have used some lotion. But anyway, he comes in and so he sits down. We're sitting at the desk, and he sits down, and he puts his hands, fold them, and then he looks at us and looks across and says, "I like you guys, but if you mess with me, I'm gonna F you up for life." That was the first thing he said to us. Okay, we first day, first sentence was, and it was like crazy. But we made an album with him and sold about 3 copies. My mom bought 2 of them.
But behind the luxurious voice and million-dollar smile, there was a man who had seen hell and climbed out of it on his own. Let's rewind to the streets of South Central. L.A. Barry and his younger brother Daryl weren't just siblings. They were a force. They ruled their block, but the price of that street life was steep. At 16, Barry was sent to jail for 7 months, caught for stealing tires, and that's where his whole life turned upside down. Just weeks after his release, Barry was wrongfully arrested for attempted. His world almost collapsed, for real this time. But the victim came out of a coma and cleared Barry's name. Can we just pause here? Like, imagine almost having your entire life stolen by a false charge just when you're trying to do better. But nothing prepared Barry for the pain that followed. His brother Daryl was killed in a gang-related fight. The one person who truly understood Barry, the one who'd been there through every scrape, scheme, and dream, was gone. And Barry never really got over it.
Don't gloss over it. You got into a lot of trouble at one point, or your friends did. You hung around with a bad crowd.
That's true. That's very true.
What straightened you out?
The bad crowd. I guess when I turned 17, I looked around me, and everywhere I looked, it was depression, people who were just going around in circles. I just felt that it was a better way of life.
And here's where the story flips from pain to power. While most artists in the industry had machines behind them, managers, labels, investors, Barry was self-made. He hustled from the bottom. He wrote, he produced, he arranged, he built groups from scratch, Hello Love Unlimited, led an orchestra, and created music that changed the entire soundscape of soul. And when the industry thought he was done, he made a comeback that shook the music world to its core.
What I want to ask you is, in a time when folks are having so many problems with record companies, when I say people, I'm talking about executives, and so many companies are folding because of taping, how do you survive, a black man with a black company?
I am not excluded from that nightmare of piracy and bootlegging. I look at it like this, Jay. When man becomes disenchanted with just making a living, when he turns to greed, it kills him every time. These same companies who are crying, we're going out of business, we're going out of business, we're going out of business, are the same companies who make the blank tape. So you have a record division and a tape division. The blank tape enables one to record music today. Technology has put everything in our hands where we can record music today without paying for it.
So I'm thinking what Barry meant by that was you didn't have to do reels and all that anymore. You had technology. So he's like, you guys are selling blank tapes, are keeping people's publishing, selling people's publishing behind their backs without telling them anything, man. It's a dirty game. We got to do a deep dive into this to really get to the bottom of it. They love to hit you with 1,000 commercials. I ain't watching none of this shit. Skip through it. Let's go. Back to
too bad that the industry put that kind of weapon out there to kill themselves. I cannot expect for a person, regardless of what color he is or who he is, to want to hear a song and can't afford to buy it. I cannot blame that person for picking up his tape recorder and taping it, because we put the element in his hand to do it. We gave him permission. So how do I survive? I keep making my records. I'll keep making my records. I'll keep making my records. Some kind of way, the elements and the things that guides and guards my life takes care of Barry White.
Barry didn't just return, he dominated. Hits flooded in, platinum plaques stacked up. People couldn't believe it. The man who came from gang wars, wrongful arrests, and unbearable grief, he was now the king of sensual soul, redefining what masculinity, vulnerability, and love sounded like.
Amazing thing about you is, and we don't deal in heavy philosophy here, but you are an inspiration because you had no money. Now you get all the money anybody ever needs.
Quit saying that, Dick.
You want to get more? I mean, that's not important, but I mean, you can buy all the physical creature comforts, but have you changed inside at all?
I like to think I've changed to a better person, to a more aware person. I feel that everything must change. Money don't spend me, I spend money, so I keep control of it.
When the disco ball dimmed in the late 70s and early 80s, Barry's career hit a wall. The R&B sound was shifting. The labels wanted younger, shinier, and more marketable faces. And just like that, the music execs who once celebrated him began turning their backs. But did Barry fold? Nah. He reinvented himself. In 1990, he came back louder and smoother than ever, teaming up with Quincy Jones for the album Back on the Block. That's when Secret Garden dropped, a lush, sultry collaboration with James Ingram, Al B. Shore, and El DeBarge. The track became a slow jam anthem, living on in R&B playlists to this day. It spent 13 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. Not bad for someone the industry had counted out, huh? But fame isn't a shield. Barry had been preaching it for years. Greed will swallow you whole if you let it. It'll make you forget your purpose. He'd seen how power, lust, and control ran deep in the music biz. He warned people. And this might be the real reason he told Luther Vandross to steer clear of Clive Davis, because Barry knew when the suits want you gone, they'll erase you and replace you.
Greed is a funny thing. Once you take a bite of it, it tends to turn on you and start eating you up. The industry was making enough money. The industry was growing fast enough. The industry was progressing enough without getting that greedy, that hoggish, becoming that bullish on money. It's a problem in America. Same thing happened to disco. It started out as an art form for the public, and everybody saw it as quick money. Naturally, we're a capitalistic country. Everybody jumped on it. How do you take?
So everybody jumped on it, and now it's gone, man. That's what happens, man. You know, history has been stolen from us throughout the years for long periods of time. Barry White is a legend. This is more aimed at like Clive Davis. So let's get back into it. Let's pull up a small screen so we don't have to get these fucking commercial. Up and switched on us. Man, nobody cares what 607 even has to say, bro. His opinion means nothing. So it's more murders being talked about with the Big U loose cannon situation. NBA officials announced banning Kevin Gates from Lakers games. Wow. The final leak. Cat Williams gives details on Diddy trial. Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard react live.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said?
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. I'm sitting there, just looking at it. Like, wait. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was like, oh.
You know?
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously. It's like insane.
Publicly, openly, like all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo like was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Joe Rogan, along with Terrence Howard and Cat Williams, just snapped on some wild files linked to Diddy. Even Elon Musk has entered the chat and sending warning shots to all the white celebs that were wrapped in this mess trying to flee the country. Now, before we go any deeper, let's be clear. Everything in here is based on speculation and what sources close to the whole thing and the internet is claiming. I am just reporting on what is being said, so don't come for me. New recent reports from the prison where Diddy is locked are coming out, and they are saying that Diddy might be ready to flip if it means saving himself. And according to Joe Rogan, Terrence, and Kat, there are a few popular names that might tally with what Diddy is about to expose. And the one name no one was really expecting was Uncle Steve Harvey. According to folks online and what Kat hinted at, as soon as Steve caught wind of Diddy's indictment, he hopped on the first thing smoking out the country. The word is he didn't just bounce. He cleaned up shop too, wiped his socials of anything tied to Diddy, even deleted an old tweet from 2017 where he called Diddy a brother doing good for these kids. That line ain't holding up too well right now, and the situation gets heavier. Back in the day, Steve was moving like everything was smooth. He was vacationing in Italy with Diddy and Lori Harvey, who was dating Diddy at the time after she dumped Diddy's son Justin for him. Just nasty. But what really got folks uneasy was a photo of Lori rocking white nail polish. Might seem small, but if you've been keeping up with this Diddy case, that detail is very horrific. In her lawsuit, Cassie said Diddy made all the women around him wear white nails. The reason? When the freak-off happened, the contrast, it popped against the skin of his black ex-workers. According to her, this was all for his twisted recordings that he kept. What's even crazy was that Young Miami had white nails too, even Diddy's mom. Now that's got folks wondering, did Steve really not know? Or was he getting close to Diddy for power moves in Hollywood? Because at the time, Diddy was a billionaire, the CEO of Revolt TV, and had connections to big producers. This is why streets are saying if Diddy talks, folks might finally find out why Steve dipped so fast. Then you got Meek Mill. Since the arrest news dropped, Meek has been mad quiet, which is weird because he and Diddy got history. That video of Meek in the pool, Diddy calling him daddy and saying he loved him, yeah, it don't look like a joke no more. It aged bad.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
And when Diddy's case was at his height and names were being called out in all these lawsuits, he dipped. Mind you, Lil Rod, who also sued Diddy, said that Diddy was bending Meek Mill and giving him deals in return. So when all this was coming out, he flew to Africa and was posting cryptic tweets. One even said he'd pay $100K to whoever helped him figure out who's trying to connect him to Diddy, but the internet ain't letting up. They say Meek's just doing damage control because he might have been caught on some footage that the feds picked up. If that's true, it's only a matter of time before the truth is revealed when the case starts. Meanwhile, folks saying he's acting like he don't know what's going on, but that front ain't fooling nobody. Similarly, Usher has also been panicking. Usher has been around Diddy since he was a youngin', and his name came up because of how deep he was tied to Diddy back in the day. See, when Usher was just 13, he was part of what they call Diddy's flavor camp. And now people are saying Diddy had Usher in some wild situations. And do y'all remember what Diddy's ex-bodyguard Gene Deal said? According to Gene, Diddy sent Usher to the hospital bleeding from, you know what?
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executive from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that. And they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
Where did you hear it?
Bro, you know.
Attention growth hackers and hustlers. Would it be a bad idea if we paid for your marketing?